Anna. Yes, I remember you. You bought the Game Boy that wasn't working, and you bought a lot of the games. No, I have not called you yet because the Game Boy is still en route. So, let me get something to drink here. This Powerade is one of the best tasting Powerade waters you can buy. It's the tropical mango flavor, 0 sugar and 0 calories. So it's delicious. I'm a huge mango fan, and this drink is very good. But yeah, so the Game Boy will be coming shortly. I can actually check the date. Let's see when it's coming in the mail here. Let me go to my purchase history and let's see. So I've got 3 bids. 3 bids on items. One's ending in 42 minutes, so I have to keep an eye on that. I apologize. But let's go to the purchase history here. And the Game Boy itself, February 9th to February 12th. That is the new updated timetable. So once it comes in, I will be sure to call you. Yes, my eye, it's the allergy season. And unfortunately, it looks like it's messed up, but I assure you I'm not sick. Well, what you did is you caught me putting away some other video games that I bought, but are you here to see those, or oh, you want to see the books? You want to see the books? Okay. Yes, last time you mentioned that you were collecting for some. Let me take the heat off here so you can hear me better. There it goes. Well, if you don't mind, I'm just going to put this Nintendo DS game I purchased in its protective case. This is actually a sealed copy of Learn Chess. Nothing spectacular by any stretch. But I have these plastic cases that protect games. I go right in like so. And there it is. Oh, you want to see some of the other games? Yeah, nothing spectacular really. For the Nintendo Wii, we got Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands. For the Sega Genesis, we have Prince of Persia. Pretty rare title to find complete. It's the Genesis version of it. And then for the Dreamcast, we have Prince of Persia: Arabian Nights. Now, the interesting thing about Prince of Persia: Arabian Nights is it is basically a port of Prince of Persia 3D for the computer. Prince of Persia 3D was the first 3D Prince of Persia. It came out in early, I want to say maybe 1999 to 2000. And this port came out in 2000, so it is not a sequel. It is the exact same game for the computer, just ported to the Dreamcast. For the Nintendo DS, we have Mega Man Zero Collection. And this has all of the Mega Man Zero games on one cartridge. 1 through 4. So we have for the Dreamcast Midway's Greatest Arcade Hits Volume 1. This game comes with Joust, Defender, Defender 2, Robotron, Bubbles, and Sinistar. I apologize for my throat. Apparently the drink did nothing to help. Interesting, I have the same game for the Genesis. So this was a port of this later in years to the Dreamcast. This is a pretty expensive game to find complete. This is Streets of Rage 2 for the Genesis. And this is the not for resale version. And I believe at one point, I could be wrong, but the Streets of Rage came packaged with the Genesis, and hence the not for resale version. I believe this is the more common version, and this is very rare. This is the first Streets of Rage, but for the Game Gear, complete. And then the last thing that I have that came in is the Soul Calibur 4 Premium Edition for the PS3. The only thing this is missing is the instruction manual, which I should be able to find off eBay, I imagine. But you didn't come for the video games, you came for the books. Well, as you can see behind me, I have a lot of books. You can't really see over here, but what kind of books are you looking for? We specialize in a lot of horror books, fantasy books. Occasionally we have some non-fiction. You're looking for series, okay? Horror series. Well, I've got plenty. Yeah, you used to collect them, yeah. I have Goosebumps. I have the entire, not only original series of books, but the ones that came right after, the Series 2000s as well. You want to see those? Okay, there are a lot, so I'm going to have to take them off the shelf and make sure nothing gets in the way. So it'll take me some time if you want to bear with me. What else would you like to see while I grab those? Oh yes, we have a lot of Christopher Pike. Christopher Pike is one of my favorite authors of all time. And the interesting thing about both R.L. Stine and Christopher Pike, I actually have interacted with both online. And Christopher Pike is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Took the time to discuss one of his books a few years ago with me. Asked me thought-provoking questions. And it was really a cool feeling to interact with him in that way. R.L. Stine, unfortunately, is a jackass. He wrote a series called Mostly Ghostly. And let me see if I can pull up the conversation that we had. Now, again, this is just a text conversation. He might not have meant anything malicious by his answers, but the tone I took from it was, stop messaging me, I'm busy, with the answers he gave. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see here. Here it is. So, this is in 2017. I wrote, Mr. Stein, I could be wrong. I don't think I am, though. But was there ever an ending to the Mostly Ghostly series? It seems like it just abruptly ends. And he replied a day later, no ending, series ended. That was it. Now, yes, one could say he replied, which is good, but if he had said, "Hey, sorry about that. I couldn't think of an ending," or the publisher unfortunately canceled the book, or something to give me some sort of closure, or this is what would have happened. And the funny thing about that series is, there are a lot of movies that went along with that book series as well, DVDs that you can buy. So that was the answer I got from him. And then I said, when I was in school, me and my friends used to have a race to see who could pick up the newest Goosebumps book first. I must have called Walden Books every day to see if I had come in, because ordering from Scholastic Magazine would have taken too long. As many I'm sure have told you, you made reading awesome for me, and I still continue to buy your newest books to this day. I'm 33, and thank you for continuing to write. And his response, thanks for the nice note, Andrew. Now, you might be wondering, what do you expect, a ticker tape parade? Let me show you the difference between R.L. Stine and Christopher Pike. If I go to Christopher Pike, let me show you the difference in response. This is in 2015. He wrote a novel called Strange Girl. And I'm not going to bore you with the entire message that I wrote because it's a long one. But the difference in response between R.L. Stine and Christopher Pike was this. Andrew, I was young when I wrote Sadie. Strange Girl may have elements that remind you of that book, but Asia is a far more subtle character than Sadie. Now, as far as your rambling, I love it. I think you're just writing from your heart, but I think at the end you have a hard time imagining Asia's last miracle. I think most readers miss it, but it is really the key to the whole book. Asia is beyond humanity. She is the supreme soul. When she said she was going to be with him, always she meant it. And in the last few pages, when he says she really did put a piece of herself inside him, her supreme aspect, he meant it. Sure, on the surface, we all see Fred as a lonely guy, always looking to recapture what he had with Asia. But Asia did not leave him so lost. Fred knows in his heart he is growing toward what she was. Fred is going to be okay, far better than okay. He is going to be the same as her one day. Trust me, I know. This book is not entirely fiction. That's a pretty cool answer. And I responded, thank you for your response. I wish I could understand deep thought like that. I consider myself a pretty intelligent person, and I'm disappointed when I miss something like that. And his response, Andrew, I don't think you missed anything. You sound plenty deep to me. Andrew, I just think you were focused on what mattered to you. So that is the difference between Christopher Pike and R.L. Stine. And up until that point, R.L. Stine had been my favorite author. But Christopher Pike, because of his responses, has taken over. But anyway, let's get back to business. You want to see all the Goosebumps, okay? And then you want to see some Christopher Pike. I have pretty much every one. I think I may be missing one Christopher Pike book. So, you want to see The Last Vampire series? Yes, I have those. Yep. So you see those, and then you want to see the Goosebumps books. Okay? Give me one moment. Okay, thank you for waiting. So we're going to take a look at the Last Vampire series. Okay? And, unfortunately, some of these are the original first prints, and some of these are not. For example, this one is not a first print because it tells you about the second and third book already. But this was the first book in the series. And this came out in 1994. The first printing was May of 94. And I believe this might be the 10th printing of the book. I forgot how to read the printing. It'll tell you on this page here. It says the first printing, and then it'll have all these numbers, and I believe it is the 10th printing. But having said that, nothing's changed about the book. This is one of my favorite series of all time. And let's see here. Yeah, see, the cool thing about these books back in the day is Scholastic. Well, this was pocketbooks, but they advertised different authors and gave you sort of a checklist at the bottom here of some of the books that they wrote. Like, this is Richie Tankersley Cusick, R.L. Stine, obviously, and then John Peel. Never heard of him. I might actually look into this. 3 books by him. Talons. Carrie Temple is caught in the grip of nightmares that seem too violent to be true, until she wakes up to real murder and an ancient evil come to life. Then he wrote a book called Shattered. When a strange mirror starts to reflect terrifying images, Stephanie Kirk must find out how to break its deathly spell. And in Poison, only Brittany Harlow knows how to expose the truth and save her best friend by using her own life to tempt a dangerous killer. And in the back of all of Christopher Pike's books, at least the paperback ones, there was always a coming soon. So, to me, if this is Last Vampire 3, this was printed when the second book already came out. But here is the second book. It's called Black Blood, and the interesting thing about this book is there were 2 different copies. You had this copy, and I believe there was a black cover as well. Remember Me 1 and 2, or Remember Me 2, excuse me, had the same sort of thing. Different covers. So, this, I believe, is an original printing. No, this still says 10. Interesting. I don't know. But we have number 2. the other thing about the young adult horror back in the day is they had the font of the author appear that you could just trace over. It was lifted a little bit, bumpy, if you will. And that's another reason how you know that they were original or one of the first printings, is because if it didn't have this, it was a reprint. Sort of like The Last Vampire, where you cannot feel anything. It's just the cover. And here's another one. Red Dice. And if I recall correctly, he wrote both of these one after the other. Interesting. Yeah, this is a big reprint because there's a website on the back of this book. And this book came out in 1995. I think before the internet. Was the internet there? I was 11. I would have been in 5th grade, maybe. No, I think the internet was just beginning. There's no way this website. So I want to say this was printed in probably 1999. It was, yeah. This is one of the last prints because they're already talking about the collector's edition of all of the Last Vampire books. So this is not an original printing at all. Yeah. Okay, the next book. This is one of the original ones. Is Phantom, Last Vampire 4. And again, you can hear the... Okay, this is one of the original printings because it's advertising the 5th Last Vampire book of 1996. And here it is. Evil Thirst, number 5. And then it shows you Creatures of Forever will be the 6th book. And here it is. Now, the interesting thing about book number 6 is at the time, it had one of the biggest twist endings I can recall. And I couldn't believe that that's how it ended. It was almost like, yes, it's a twist ending, but at the same time, it was more of a... I'm trying to think how to explain. Like not a scapegoat, but a convenient way of ending things. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, it made you think, like, wow, I can't believe that that's how this thing ended. And unbeknownst to me, we're talking years later, I had no idea that he had continued the Last Vampire series. He did. This is Thirst, Volume 3, or Number 3, The Eternal Dawn. And you may say, well, wait a minute. Yes, this is the Last Vampire, even though the cover, the title is different. And the reason is the title is different is because he took the first 6 novels and rebranded them as Thirst. So you have Thirst number 1, which makes up the top 3. and then Thirst number 2, which makes up 4, 5, and 6. And this is book number 7 by itself. And this book is 478 pages, whereas most of the last vampire books were barely 200. So he wrote what would take him 2.5 normal books. He wrote 1 novel. And then after that, Last Vampire 8 came out, otherwise known as Thirst number 4. And then The Last Vampire 9, otherwise known as Thirst number 5, The Sacred Veil. And the interesting thing about this series now is he is still going to write more Last Vampire books, but the problem is they're going to be self-published, and I don't really know if they're ever going to come out. He's in the middle. He has a Facebook page, so if you want to follow him, you can. He updates it regularly, and he has his admin staff do so as well. But he, once a month or once every other month will write a lengthy update. The cool thing is, one of his books, The Midnight Club, is going to be a Netflix series, I believe. Either Netflix or Amazon or something like that. And it'd be interesting to see how that all plays out, because the interesting thing about The Midnight Club as a book is it had a twist ending at the end, whereas the show description gives away that twist ending as just normal. I don't want to spoil it. If you haven't read the book, I don't want to spoil it for you. But it's a twist ending. So, yeah, these are the Last Vampire series. This is pretty hard to find. These last 3 books, the Thirst books, are not. But these others are pretty hard to find. It all depends on if you just want to buy Thirst 1 and Thirst 2, and then buy the other Thirst books. That way you have the whole series. If you want to be an original collector and want the original covers, then I could let these go for $75. You have to figure that the Thirst books, brand new, were $11 each. So that's $33. I'm sure you could find them used for $6 or $7 plus shipping. These books, however, were $4 when they came out, and there are 6 of them. So 24 plus 33 is already 57. I'm saving you shipping, and I'm saving you time and hassle. 75, and they're yours. No. You want me to make you a deal like I did on the video games? Unlike the video games, these are part of my childhood here at the bookshop, and I want to keep them, but if I know they're going to a home that will take care of them, I will let them go. But 75 is going to have to be my firm offer. You'll think about it? Okay. Well, they'll be here unless someone else wants to buy them. But you said now you wanted to look at some Goosebumps books. Okay. Did you have any in mind? Because there are a lot. You want to see them all. Well, how about this? We'll just go with the regular original Goosebumps books. There are 62 in total. If you want to see the Series 2000, maybe come back another time. Um, I don't mind spending time with you, but my voice, and I've run out of liquid to try to make sure that I can continue to talk. So, do you mind coming back another time and seeing the Goosebumps Series 2000 and some of the other series he's written? Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you up front, the Goosebumps series is going to be pricey if you want all 62. You're looking at hundreds of dollars here. These are from first editions in the sense of, I'll show you what I mean on the back of these books. You can tell if it's a reprint or if it's one of the original copies. Okay. So you want to see all 62. Do you want to see the DVDs that go with the books themselves? You want to see those too? Okay. Because there was a Goosebumps TV show that came out in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, called, it was Goosebumps. It was on Fox Kids. And they have some DVD shows that went along with the novel itself. So I have some of those as well that I'll just toss in if you want to take the whole collection. Okay, bear with me one sec. So, I have all 62 Goosebumps books, and I also have some DVDs, and I also have some books about the DVDs, along with a lot of merchandise like Pogs and book lights and some rare items. So here's what I'll do. The next time you come back and you wanted to see the other Goosebumps books like Series 2000 and some of the other series he's written, like Mostly Ghostly and Goosebumps Horrorland and Goosebumps Slappy World and stuff like that. I also have some video games as well based on Goosebumps. So I think we should save that for another time that you come in the store. But here's what I'll do. I'll have you write down the times that you're free, your phone number, and then I'll give you a call and we'll work something out, and I will open the store early just for you. You're a pretty good customer, and I know you're serious about this. What I do want to show you, however, before you go, is in the 90s, everyone tried to copy R.L. Stine. And there was an author by the name of M.D. Spencer. And M.D. Spencer had a series called Shivers. And it was a quote-unquote poor man's version of Goosebumps. Now, the interesting thing about M.D. Spencer is he wrote 36 books in all, almost half, more than half of R.L. Stine's 62 original Goosebumps books. And some of these were okay, some of these were poor, but a few were very good. But I have every one, and I'm going to go through them with you so you can take a look at, I think, an obscure young adult horror series that not a lot of people know about. M.D. Spencer, I actually emailed just to see if he would respond, and this is, I'm talking years and years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, and he did respond. He did email me back, and at the time he was actually living in London, England. He's not from there, but he moved there. I think his wife might have been from there or something like that. But I'll go through these books with you and let you take part in a little series that a lot of people don't even know exist. So, the first book is called The Enchanted Attic. and Nicole and her sister move into an old house, and hears she hears noises and uh, seeing if it's old mice or something like that. But this is book number 1. Book number 2, A Ghastly Shade of Green. Now, with the title of A Ghastly Shade of Green, M.D. Spencer it's like he was trying to write for young adults, but he was trying to write for young adults in the 50s or 40s. R.L. Stine's Goosebumps books had catchy, hip titles to them. A Ghastly Shade of Green, something out of like Agatha Christie. So it might be one of the reasons he did not do as well as he could have done. Book number 3, Ghost Rider. Not to be confused with the TV show, Ghost Rider. Book number 4, The Animal Rebellion. Again, another very interesting title. You could have put The Haunted Farm, or you could have put something like that, but The Animal Rebellion, it's, very strange title of a book. Book 5, The Locked Room. Now we're getting somewhere here. This is a decent title of a book. Book 6, The Haunting House. Not The Haunted House, but The Haunting House. Again, there might have been a better way of changing the title so it was more hip. To me, it's almost like he tried to... it was a ripoff of Welcome to Dead House by R.L. Stine's Goosebumps number 1. But again, book number 7, The Awful Apple Orchard. Again, another title that was out of its time. We're talking, these were written in the 90s, 96, so these titles seem like it could be out of the 70s or 80s. And the interesting thing is, in the beginning of every book, there was a little introduction. And it says, do you enjoy being frightened? Would you rather have nightmares instead of sweet dreams? Are you happy only when shaking with fear? Congratulations, you've made a wise choice. This book is the doorway to all that may frighten you. Get ready for cold, clammy shivers running up and down your spine. Now, open the door if you dare. So all of these had that introduction, every book. Book number 8 was called Terror on Troll Mountain. Okay. Book 9, The Mystic's Spell. Reminds me a lot of Be Careful What You Wish For from R.L. Stine. Book 10, The Curse of the New Kid. Again, some of these book covers and titles are just, they're bargain bin. Number 11, Guess Who's Coming for Dinner? And the publisher, this was on sale on clearance at one point for 50 cents in 2006. 50 cents. The publisher was called Paradise Press out of Plantation, Florida. So it was also a not well-known publisher that published these. Number 12, The Secret of Fern Island. Now we're branching off a little bit from R.L. Stine's type of books. The Spider Kingdom, number 13. The Curse in the Jungle, number 14. This reminded me of How I Got My Shrunken Head, but he might have wrote this before How I Got My Shrunken Head came out. So, I don't know. Pool Ghoul, number 15. Number 16, The Beast Beneath the Boardwalk. I remember this one. This was actually pretty good. Number 17, Ghosts of Camp Massacre. So, and number 18, one of the worst covers of all time. Your Mama's a Werewolf. Never liked this cover. All right, we're halfway through. Number 19, The Thing in Room 601. Book number 20, Babyface and the Killer Mob. Again, some of these titles are just out there, and not in a good way. Book 21, A Waking Nightmare. Book 22, Lost in Dreamland. Looks to me like it's a knockoff of One Day at Horrorland, but number 23, Night of the Goat Boy. Number 24, The Ghosts of Devil's Marsh. Reminds me of Ghost Beach. Number 25, A Ghostly Playmate, another lazy title. Lazy title. And this is interesting. This actually, there's a sticker on here that, oh, well, this is wrong. I don't know what this is. This is 89p. I thought it might be how many pages are in this book, but that's not the case. This is over 100 pages, so I don't know what that is. 89 cents, maybe? Pennies? I don't know. Book 26, One Foot in the Grave. Book 27, Camp Fear. Again, we're getting lazy with title names and cover art. Watch 'Em Kill is book number 28. And then the last few books. Book 29, The Terrible Terror Book. Book number 30, Creepy Clothes. Now, this is an actual decent cover. This is the play on the famous painting with the farmer and his wife. But here they're skeletons. But again, the title of the book really has nothing to do with the cover art. So, book 31, Shriek Home, Chicago. Book 32, Beware the Bog Girl. Book 33, The Forgotten Farmhouse. Book 34, Weirdo Waldo's Wax Museum. The second to last book, 35, Terror on Tomahawk Island. And then the last book, which happened to be the best in the series, and I think I remember emailing him when I emailed him and said these are the ones I really liked, which were maybe 3 or 4, but this one was very good. I can't remember why he stopped writing. I don't know if they weren't selling as well and he told me that's what it was, or if he just was done with it. I forget exactly, and I don't want to put words in his mouth. What are the odds I still have the email saved? How cool would that be? Let's see. So let's see if I can find the email here. I still use AOL as my email. So we're back into 2015 now. I actually had a Pottermore account. Let's see. No, I don't think I have it. Well, I tried to find it. Anyway, Madness at the Mall was the final book. This was a very, very good one. And unfortunately, he stopped when he wrote his best one. So, but yeah. I don't know how rare these are. I haven't looked. I bought these years and years and years ago. If I went to eBay right now and typed in Shivers books, let's see. No. There are 6 books selling for $31. So, paperback. See if anybody has the entire. Well, somebody's selling 9 for $13. So 9 for $40. I would have to say that I'll probably let these go for 120. Oh, here we go. There's 18 for $80. And we have the full set, so I'll give you a deal, 125, and they're yours. Yeah, you want these? Yeah, they're unique. They're not the greatest stories ever told. Some of them are downright terrible. But you are going to be owning a piece of literary history. And actually, that's $80 Canadian. So most likely they'd be about $90 to $100 not US for the 18 that they're selling. So 125 is actually a deal. Yeah, I'll package these up for you. And the next time you come in, we'll go over all the Goosebumps stuff we have. Goosebumps books, movies, DVDs, video games, hard to find sets, book lights, and things of that nature. And you'll see the entire collection. There's still some things I don't have, like calendars and things of that nature, but yeah. But I appreciate you coming in, and I'll bag these up for you. Thank you very much for dealing with my throat issues and my eye, which seems to be getting a little bit better. Yeah. And as soon as that Game Boy comes in, I'll give you a call. Thank you again for coming to Andy's Books and Video Games, and We'll see you next time.